What is up, everybody? This is Micah with Tone Nerds. Hope you guys are doing well. We are broadcasting today from the Dallas International Guitar Festival. So that's exciting, but equally exciting is that we have a friend of ours in the booth today. His name is Ian York. He is the mastermind behind York Electronics.
What's up?
What's up, man? What
Good
is
to be
going
here.
on? Dude, so excited to have Ian on the show with us and have him in Dallas for the guitar show. Got some exciting news on the York Electronics front, Ian. What do we got going on?
We're launching the Royal Pain today. It's my, Woo!
Yes. Yes.
My first pedal.
Heck
My
yeah,
first
man.
pedal ever. It might be the flagship, I guess. I don't know.
there it
Somebody
is.
asked me yesterday if it was the flagship device or the
Sure.
flagship pedal, and I was like, yeah,
That
sure.
sounds good.
It's the
let's
only
call
one.
it that.
Yeah. It is the flagship pedal. I can talk about it. So
Heck yeah. So what is a Royal Pain?
Well, a Royal Pain is it is what it sounds like, a Royal Pain, because the design process was arduous, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it's like a King of Tone riff.
Yes.
It started out its life. I don't know if everybody is like familiar with like the channel, and like we can get into some of the history a little bit later. But it started out life as like a King of Tone clone, and then it kind of became like, what if this was like a little bit more like than a King of Tone?
Yeah.
And so it kind of landed as like a King of Tone that's just kind of like just juiced up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. It's like a Supreme Chancellor of Tone.
Supreme Chancellor, yeah.
Just a step above a king.
One notch above.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what makes it different than a King of Tone?
Yeah, so it, for one thing, it's in a smaller enclosure, like the 125B instead of the, I can't remember what the wider guy.
Yeah.
But it's got an internal charge pump, so it boosts itself up to 18 volts internally. So it's got like a little bit more headroom, a little bit more gain.
I just grabbed a bigger enclosure. I think this Z drive. So this is a Z drive, which is pretty rad. Have you seen one of these before?
no.
Oh man, this is like
Maybe I have.
Dr. Z and Earthquaker Devices had a baby.
That's sick.
It's called a Z drive. They don't make
Yeah.
them anymore.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah, but this anyway. I grabbed this just so you can see kind of size comparison. This is roughly the size of a King of Tone, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah, smaller enclosure.
smaller enclosure, and then on the boost channel, I didn't want to like mess with it too much, but I'm familiar with like the Turbo Rat, which
Yeah.
like the whole vibe of the Turbo Rat was he took out the clipping diodes in a Rat, and he put a pair of LEDs in there, because LEDs are just diodes. You can use them like, a 1N4148 or any clipping diode that you want. I put an extra pair of those in for the boost channel, and it doesn't take away from the headroom at all, so you still get that really nice like headroom and that nice like open tone, but it's just like you get just like a little bit more drive and a little bit more compression. And so when I was like kind of coming up with the schematic and the like breadboarding stage, I tried it out and I was like, I actually really like this a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I went through a bunch of diode combinations and found a good combination that I liked that kind of delivered that King of Tone thing, but wasn't unobtainable.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I wanted it to be something that like I could actually make and have it be
Source of
available.
material. Yeah, gotcha. Totally. So tell me about the original King of Tone that has an 18 volt option, but yours doesn't. But it does address that.
No,
right?
yeah. So internally there's a charge pump. So internally it's actually the same. The Klon does it pretty famously, where the Klon internally has it's called a charge pump. It's just a little integrated circuit that takes your 9-volt in and bumps it up to 18 volts internally. Not to get too much into the technical stuff, but it helps the op amps run a little bit better. The more voltage you run into the op amps, kind of the more gain that they can apply.
Got it.
Which means more headroom, more drive.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to me because you kind of, I guess there's a limitation. I mean, if you like the 9-volt feel and sound of the King of Tone, I mean, you can't really replicate that if you're up regulating that internally with a charge pump. But
but it won't. I
feel like the 18 volts is just an upgrade. With pretty much any pedal you play with the extra headroom and just. Yeah,
and you can always just turn the drive down.
Turn the drive down. That's exactly right. So I do feel like it's just a little more flexible that way.
Yeah,
and I think it's nice that you can run just a 9-volt. Input jack.
Yeah.
9-volt, power supply.
Which I mean, any power supply ever. Yeah. You can't run 18 volts to this because it will die.
Destroyed. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Warning.
Yeah.
So really exciting, man. Obviously we have a couple of videos up on the channel now. With the King of, the Royal Pain. The King of Pain.
The King of Pain.
The Royal Pain. The Royal Pain. We have a couple of vids up on the channel. We actually did a video on the prototype.
Yeah.
So we did check this out. This was like one of the very, very early models. This is still on my board.
Yeah, I don't even have one.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Dude, well, here, man.
No, you can. It's yours.
Come on,
it's
man.
yours. Yeah.
So anyway, so I've been using that one. I'm really excited to get the new one on my board. I just got it in, so I really haven't had a chance to even swap it out or do anything.
Yeah, and I know I'm biased, but like kind of biased. But I was like, I put the Royal Pain on my board instead of my King of Tone, and I was like, ooh.
This has something.
I was like, hey, I actually really like this.
Initially, I absolutely love it, man. So,
yeah.
Ruben stole one.
And
Dusty Greg has one.
Yeah.
And then we had a guy buy one.
Yeah.
The Hyper Pixies, I think, is the name of the band.
Oh,
so check them out.
Okay, they just followed me. Yeah.
Yeah. So they picked one up. I keep one for myself though, man. It's like I can't.
Yeah.
I would be such a terrible drug dealer.
Yeah.
I'd get killed so fast because I would not be able to sample the
never sample the merchandise. Yeah, never sample the product.
It's too late for me, man. I've already sampled it, and it tastes so good.
It tastes so good.
It's so
nice.
I can't stop. So tell me about. I know you talked a little bit about the motivation behind it, but how does one go from, hey, I got an idea, like for this thing. There's a scarcity. I think there's some things I can tweak to make it better. How do you go from that to actually building the thing?
Lots of Google searches for sure. Lots of research.
Long night conversations with ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, it's kind of I actually tried out ChatGPT. It doesn't. Turns out ChatGPT doesn't understand circuitry very well.
Is that right? Wow, that's
yeah.
For something that's pretty black and white. I feel like I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, hey, here's something that kind of looks like a circuit. I was like, hey, design me a perf board of this schematic, and it was like, here's something that looks kind of like something that could be a perf. Anyways, it does not work.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, it can't even get human fingers right. It doesn't know humans have 5 fingers.
Yeah.
So,
it's well, to be fair, it's based on probably all the cartoons, and they all have 4 fingers.
No, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
No, all that to say, lots of research. I mean, like guitar schematics are pretty well known and pretty famous, and so I mean, like a lot of stuff exists, but it's kind of like cooking, where you find a recipe for something, and I actually really love to cook, so it's like it works in my brain somehow, but you just like kind of figure out like, oh, maybe what if I tried this ingredient? What if I tried this seasoning? That was kind of where like Or like, what's a problem that I have with this? The original Blues Breaker circuits are famously really quiet. And so I was like, you know, in the Morning Glory, the way that they get around that is they added like an additional like makeup stage afterwards. And I was like, oh man, like what if I just like threw in this 18-volt conversion sort of thing and it accomplished that? So, you know, it's kind of like, it's equal parts just kind of like experimentation, and like I come from like the world of like producing and like mixing and stuff like that, and so I feel like one of the big things that I learned is like you know, you kind of get a hand in like, what can I mess with and what maybe should I not?
Yeah.
What maybe should I not mess with?
What ingredients have to stay in there?
Yeah, and like what, and like when you change something and it works, it's like, ooh, I liked that. Let's not mess with that. You know, like
that makes a lot of sense. The producing analogy makes a lot of sense, and the cooking thing too. It's like a lot of similar concepts there. Very cool.
Yeah, and like lots of YouTube. Kind of like there's a lot of things, but fortunately, I mean, like I feel like there are so many things that could have gone wrong that didn't go wrong. Yeah, and like just little things like, oh man, this PCB actually works. Like like, you know, it was like that feeling when you like make bacon for yourself for the first time, and you're like, I can do this. I can do this. I can make this. I can make this anytime. Right. I can do this anytime I want. Just figuring out like, oh wow, I like made my own circuit board. I made my own PCB. I was
That's got to be a huge confidence boost.
Oh yeah, and it actually worked. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
It's got my name on it. We need to open one up later.
Yes, I love that.
Like, put my label on the PCB, so it's like York Electronics, Royal Pain.
I love that.
1.2. Anyways.
Yeah, let's definitely make that happen. I don't think we have a screwdriver right now.
Yeah, I know.
So, but Ruben's bringing one later, so we're gonna be good. But I would love to take a look at the guts. That, like, as you're talking about it, it sounds like very similar to just. I mean, it's like electric guitar. There's obviously an artistic component to it, of playing and expressing yourself, but there's also a very technical component to building your signal chain and dialing your pedals and your tone and like all those types of things. So it's like equal parts. Yeah,
it kind of like it scratched a cool itch in my brain because I came from. Like I kind of come from like an engineering background, software engineering. So I went to Georgia Tech, go Jackets for anybody that is into that sort of thing.
Awesome.
But so I kind of came from like a software engineering background. Yeah. Not electrical engineering, but like that kind of like it's been a cool way to kind of like meld those worlds. And I just think that like. I know in the age of modelers and stuff like that, it's like I'm not going to argue that like technically could I tell the difference between like an HX stomp modelers? I couldn't tell you the difference. I probably couldn't if you like held a gun to my head and were like, is this an HX stomp or is this a pedal? I wouldn't know. But pedals are fun.
They are fun.
Pedals are so much fun. And that was
they're fun to look at and to touch.
Yeah.
And to click.
Yeah, I just the thought of I mean, like when we first talked about it, that was kind of my thing. Was I was like, that sounds fun. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And then it became like, well, what would make this a cool product for me? Like, I want it to be something that I would use. You know, like. I don't want it to just be something like, oh, cool, I made this thing, but I still have the King of Tone on my board. Yeah. You know, like what would this be? How do I make this something that I'm excited about like the look and feel and stuff?
Yeah, totally. And put your stamp on it. So I think
several stamps.
Yeah, literally. Check this out. There we go. Yeah. York Electro. Look at that. That thing is a beauty. So. Yeah, man, you literally put stamps all over this thing.
and some Sharpie.
So, man, So what was the most tedious part of this whole process? If you had to think back, okay, the biggest pain point, the point where if I was going to quit, this would have been it.
The royalist pain.
It was the royalist pain point.
Man, I think that manufacturing is hard. And like I've made a dozen or give or take at this point, and it's the we were talking on the way over, just like the precision that's required for some of these things is like oof. So
yeah,
I think when I built my first three with like this final revision, 2 of them didn't work, and I don't know why to this day. And I was like, oh boy,
yeah,
this is gonna be a long week of kind of fulfilling this first little
right.
bit. So that was not super encouraging.
But they're working now.
Yes, and and like just doing like QC on stuff, and like it's like. That's been like a cool thing of like plugging one in and being like getting to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the sound.
Yep.
Like where I can just plug it in and I'm like, that sounds right. Like,
yeah.
And then it's like cool. Yeah.
Sweet, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the actual building them part has kind of been that, and just the waiting bits, because a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the suppliers are overseas, and there's just no way to get parts fast.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
yeah, totally.
I can order these, and they're going to be here
eventually
7 days from now.
Well, you could be like Mike Piera and just take a trip to Japan.
Yeah, I know.
Go straight to the electronics market. Did you see that Chase Bliss?
No, I want to.
It's like a mini
cool.
documentary.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, the Chase Bliss guys. For you guys who don't know, the Chase Bliss guys just released a new pedal called Brothers AM, which is like their kind of King of Tone inspired thing, but with like, of course, Chase Bliss fashion, a million dip switches. Yeah,
it's so cool. And presets.
It has
it's
MIDI.
So cool.
It's pretty crazy.
It's cool.
A couple things about the Chase Bliss. It's a little bit bigger than the Royal Pain.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger footprint. But then number 2, it's also $400.
yeah.
So there's that. I mean, it's a great product. The thing with me though, like especially MIDI presets on an overdrive, this is just me. I don't think I would use that. I don't even use the MIDI presets on like my Strymon pedals. I get like a handful of sounds I like, and that's kind of what I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
For some people, it may be great.
I have one of those, the micro clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I use for all of my time sync.
Nice. Okay.
I've tried, but like, I'm just like, I have a sound that I like, and I just need to change my
tap tempo.
Just tap tempo.
That's me as well. So for some people that may be amazing.
Yeah.
But for me, I like the simplicity of just, you got a pedal, you got 6 knobs, you got 2 switches.
Yeah.
And I say simplicity, I'm not. It's
not.
I say simplicity, and you're like, this was not simple to make.
Yeah.
But as far as like operation
goes, use. Yeah.
Yes.
That's like one of the classic like design questions too. Is like sometimes the simplest designs are like the hardest to execute and come up with.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of American traditional tattoos and stuff, and like doing like getting that style. It's just like it's simple, but it's not, because if you don't do it right, it'll look really dumb.
Right.
But sometimes like people will kind of like do it in a way that's like a little not. Anyways, getting something that's just like, I wanted to have something that was just like easy to use, and like I'm like a big synth guy. Like I was like a keys player first, and I don't use presets on synthesizers.
Really?
I'll get a sound that I like, I'll record the part,
kind of it,
and like I'll figure it out later. I'd never save presets, and so also like that's like one step more. I was like, let me just figure out how to do some analog circuitry.
Yeah, gotcha. Anything else that we need to know about the Royal Pain?
Oh, I did remember the one thing, the last tweak that I made to that King of Tone circuit, I did remove the presence control. That was the last. I kind of like fixed it.
And that was an internal. That was an internal.
Yeah.
Thing,
So
right?
on the King of Tone, there's an internal presence control, and in some of the earlier revisions, like that first one that I had made for you, that actually has it. But some of the early ones that I made, I kind of like. I think before I closed it up and shipped it off, like I had the knob accidentally turned up too high, and I plugged it in and I thought it was broken because I was just like, man, it just sounded so bright, and so I was just like, man, I don't want to have something where you could mess up something on the inside, and it'll suck, you know? And so I got rid of it, and I think that like this circuit compared to like a King of Tone does have a little bit more brightness on tap. So where with the King of Tone, I think the way that you're supposed to do it, I don't know. I've had one for years, and you should kind of like dial that presence in to taste a little bit, and then you just set it and forget it. But this is kind of like a little bit more dialed to taste. I think
pre-dialed.
Like pre-dialed and fixed, because I was like, man, I don't.
Well, again, simplicity. I mean, it's coming. If I just like if I have to take the back off, adjust the presence switch or knob or whatever pot, and then put it back, and then I'm like, well, I need a little bit less, and then I got to take the back off. It's like,
and like I get anxiety from for my King of Tone when I've tweaked stuff like that. I'll like have it on my pedal board, because if you want to tweak something, you have to have it plugged in, and so it'll be sitting with the back off, and like having the back off on a pedal, especially like a King of Tone or something that's like kind of, I'm like, this is kind of valuable now.
Totally.
It just gives me anxiety that it's like just hanging out there, like it could break. I could jack something up.
Drop
could get like a bunch of dirt in there. Also, it's like so distracting seeing people walk by with just like beautiful guitar.
We're looking at a
Banning.
A Banning.
It's like a Banning Penguin.
It's a penguin
beautiful.
style guitar. It's like a emerald green, kind of dark green color. It looks like maybe it's black, depending on how the light's hitting it.
It was gorgeous. Anyways.
This is tough. This is hard. Eyes here.
I know.
Well, sweet.
Anyways.
Well, so. Number one, give Ian a follow on York Electronics. A lot of exciting news coming out with the Royal Pain now. Somewhat in production, ramping up.
Ramping up. We're looking to have them like available to order just all the time. As quickly as I can build them.
Totally. So follow him, give him a follow, stay up to date with his information.
We got some other ideas for stuff. I think like. We'll see. It's going to take some time but I mean, I think it's still crazy to imagine that like this was like a 6-month project.
That is very crazy to think about. To
get this to market, which feels kind of fast, actually.
That's awesome,
but
man.
But granted, we have 10.
That's true. That's true. But hey, anyways, man, getting better every day.
Start somewhere,
Totally.
Anyways.
Well, that does it for another episode of Tone Nerds. I want to thank our special guest, Ian York, today for coming on and talking about his new pedal, the Royal Pain.
Thank you.
So give Ian a follow on Instagram at York Electronics. Stay posted on everything new with him. As always, like and subscribe to the Tone Nerds channel and hit the bell so you're alerted as new content drops. You guys have a great day.